Mahendra, you're muted.
Greetings everyone. Welcome again to Business Automation Show, where we talk about that how to automate your business process. So on every session, we take one topic and we discuss the detail on that topic, how we can use the automation to do this automation on your day-to-day activity or whatever task you are doing on your business. So that we talk here on that business automation. So today we are going to talk about specifically on that Excel, how we can automate our processes if you are using Excel for your day-to-day activities. Okay, so here is the agenda for today. So we will start with the basic introduction, and then we will see what are the excel triggers and actions available, and then we will see what are the most frequently used triggers or actions in the excel that we can utilize to do these automations, and we will do all the demo. So whatever topic we will discuss here, so we will be doing demo on this. Okay, so before jumping on the main topic, let's have a quick introduction about ourselves. So myself, Mahinder, and I have my friend Sandeep with me. So we both are Microsoft MVPs, and we have more than 10 years of experience in Microsoft tech, and we have both our CSharpCorner MVPs as well. Okay, so let's jump into our first topic, introduction. So Excel, today we are going to talk about that how we can do it automation if we are using Excel. Okay, so there are lots of small business owner or medium sized business owner, they are still using Excel for their day to day activities and keeping their data into Excels. Okay, so whether it's a their sales data, whether it's their product information, whether their employee information or their order history, product history, so they are using Excel very much to store all these data locally. Okay, so they are not using any kind of relationship management or any kind of cloud database to store the data. So they are utilizing Excel, right? But when we are using Excel and we are storing the data, sometimes we are same data we are storing on the different places, which create inconsistency, inconsistency in the data, right? And that data could be wrong, and definitely when we have wrong data, the output is going to be wrong as well, right? So let's take an example that we want to do some kind of sales forecasting, right? And we have different Excel sheet where we have kept our sales data, but those data are not matching, right? When at the end of the day you want to generate some kind of report from that Excel, that the number can be wrong there, right? And it won't give you that actual output or actual performance, that how your sales is going on and actual what is the actual numbers, right? So there are chances that the data will be wrong and there will be inefficiency in the day-to-day operations as well, right? So now to streamline this, we can utilize Power Automate to all that actions or the data that we are doing. We can do that automation using with the Power Automate. Okay, so we can use Power Automate and we can perform different actions automatically, or whatever task we are doing, whether it's storing the data or fetching data from outside and putting on there or generating that report, those kind of thing we can easily do using the Power Automates, and that's what we are going to talk today. So we will show you how we can leverage different kind of actions that is part of the Power Automate to do these automation with the Excel, right? So these Excel automations, so depending on the requirement, whether it's inserting the data or retrieving the data, updating the data or deleting, we can have different options. For example, maybe we can schedule some job, right, which will be running on the background or on a scheduled manner, and during that particular point of time it will perform some set of action that we will configure in the Power Automate, right? So those when we are doing these tasks using this Power Automation, it means that there is no human basically we are not doing anything or feeding any data manually there. Everything is happening automatically, right? So based on the our recorded step, based on the action that we have used in the Power Automate. Okay, so then the output, obviously the output will be much better than the manual effort that we were doing earlier in the Excel. Okay, so now let's see that what are the triggers and actions that is available on that action if we want to utilize Excel connector on the Power Automate. So we can see here that we have basically not much triggers specifically from the Excel side. So we have one trigger that is available, which is kind of a manual trigger that when you are selecting some row. So let's take an example. You have a workbook, and under that workbook you have a sheet, and if you want to do some kind of automation, like if I select some row, I want to perform some action. Okay, so that type of trigger that is available here. So we can select that row, and this trigger will be executing, and after that we can utilize these number of that action. So these are the, it's not full list, but these are the action that is available as a part of the Excel. And these Excels have like different type of things, like for example, if you want to create a workbook, or you want to create table, or if you want to write some data onto that Excel worksheet, or you want to get that row. So those kind of thing that is available on that actions. And as we said earlier, when we are working on the Power Automate, these action and trigger, these are the more core component here. So whenever you select any connector, okay, the connector basically which help you to connect these between two applications. So here we are talking about two applications. One application that is basically Excel, and another one is the Power Automate, right? Both are basically part of the our Microsoft stack only, Microsoft cloud only. So we are like, for example, this is a Excel online, right? So both are on the same tenant. So we are now connecting these two applications using the connector that is available on the Power Automate. So when you will select that connector, then you will be able to see these two options here, trigger and the actions. Okay, and using these we can perform, as I said, that we can do all your day-to-day activities depending on that what is your job role, what you do in day-to-day activities. So you can perform those actions. And while working on these Excel act as a database, right? So it means that we are considering here that Excel workbook or that Excel sheet that basically will have a table. So, and under that table, that will be basically a particular boundary, that where we can say that, okay, up to this range to this column range, this will be considered a one table. And under that one table, we can have different rows. And then on the different rows, we can perform different action that is part of these Power Automate connectors. Okay. So now let's see what are the most frequently used actions that when we work with the automation on Excel, what we do that. Okay. So we have here get worksheet and get tables. So these are commonly used action that here we can use. So these are basically, if there is a worksheet that is part of your, you have some location where you have stored your file. It could be SharePoint, it could be OneDrive, where you have this worksheet and you want to fetch that worksheet and you want to fetch the data basically that is part of the table. It means you want to fetch the table that is part of the worksheet. Okay, so these both actions shares same set of parameters here. Using those parameters we can get these files and the tables. So the first parameter that is here is the location, which basically represent at where you have stored your file, whether it's a SharePoint, OneDrive. So that basically is the location. So when you click on that location, and we will show you this on the demo, and we will do demo, you will see a drop down there. Under that drop down you will get different options, and then when you will select that option, okay, let's take an example that I'm saying on SharePoint I have stored my file. So you will select SharePoint, and then next is the document library. So location is basically the place where you have stored that. and under that location you may have different kind of directory, right? So depending on your job profile, or depending on your requirement, let's say you have different folders. One folder you have created for orders, one folder you have created for product, one you have created for maybe your report, or maybe there are some other marketing folder is there. So you could have a different kind of folder structure there. So document library basically target that document structure where you have stored that file. Okay, so this location, and after that you select that particular folder, that this is the folder where my file is there. So you can select that, and then you will select that file. Okay, so under that folder you may have different files, but you want to work with the one particular file here under these different actions. So under the file you will select, okay, I want to work with this particular file. I want to get the worksheet that is part of this particular file, and I want to get tables that is part of this particular worksheet, that we will mention on this file. Okay, so this is what we have here: get worksheet and get tables. Using that we can get our files and the table that is part of that file. Now, so as I said that this Excel basically here, as it's playing a role of a database, right? It acts as a database here. So in Excel we can also define tables depending on the row and column. So you can, let's say for example, if you are working with Excel, so if you have some set of column and rows, you can select those range, and then under that properties you can define that, okay, this will be the name of this particular range. So you give it a name, that okay, this range will be called as this table. Okay, so similarly, if we want to create the table using the automation, using the Power Automate, so we have these set of parameters that we need to configure. So these are again the common parameter that we have: location and document library. File is also same here, that on which file we want to create this table. Then here is the table name. Okay, so when we are creating the table, you need to define that what name you want to give to your table, that will be for that particular range. And that is the another parameter here, where we define that starting from your first column, first row up to there, that okay, which range you want to cover into the table, and that you want to use to create your table, right? And then next parameter is the column names, right? So we have these, as we are talking about the table is basically combination of row and columns, right? So we have horizontal rows, and then we have a vertical columns. So we said that okay, up to this column, maybe there are for example 5 or 10 columns are there into your sheet, but maybe you just want to utilize 3 column or particular columns. So you can say that these are the columns that I want to use for creating my table. So you can define name of the columns, and then you can use here semicolon to just separate them, right? For example, I want to use name, product name, okay, product number. So these type of product column, when I will be writing, I can use semicolon here to segregate these column differently as a part of the table. Okay, so that's what we have here: create table, which we can use to create table under the workbook. Now next is mostly used is the get row. So when you have Excel file, you have table there. Under the table you have multiple records there, and one record means one row. Okay, and you want to fetch that data. Maybe you want to read that data, and want to process that data into Power Automate. So it could be depending on that, maybe you want to get those row, and you want to do some kind of checking that okay, what data is there as a part of the row. So those kind of thing can be done using this get row. So again, we have these are the three four things. This is the same from the last one: location, where you have that file in the folder structure, basically the document library, and file is the name of file. Now here, because now we are fetching the one record, right? And that record will be part of a particular table. So you need to tell that, okay, what is the table name and from which table you want to get that row. And when we are fetching that particular row, so in the table there can be multiple records, right? So there could be 10 record, 100 record, 1,000 records. But how you will identify that, okay, but which particular record you want to fetch using these set of columns? So you need to define, okay, what are the key column that you want to use for the comparison, so that Power Automate will go there into that file, into that table, and it will look for that particular column, and then you will provide value of that column. So this will be basically the ID. So just take an example that maybe we have a unique identifier there, and maybe there is a serial number, right? And based on the serial number I want to fetch that particular row. So you can use those serial number as a key column, and the value of the serial number will be known as the key value here. That will then Power Automate will go and it will compare the data and get the data, and it will return to you, right? And there is another thing here, date time format. So this basically a date time format is used for if there is any kind of date time format column that you have used into your table, and how it will be returned. So Excel have its own way to storing that date column. So there are like a serial number, or there is a ISO format, how it will return. So there you can define that, okay, when you are returning the data, and that if there is a date column, how it will be returned. So that for that we use this date time format. Okay, so that's we have here get row. Now update row. So you have that list of records that is part of the table, and you want to do some kind of modification to those rows. Maybe you have some numbers there, you want to do some calculation. Okay, you have some maybe you want to calculate some discount there, or maybe you want to do what is the total order, how many products are there, depending on the product pricing you want to do that total orders. So those kind of thing we can do using the update row action. And here as well we have these are the common things that we have. For example, location, folder structure, our file and table. And for the update as well, as there could be multiple records, we need to provide some kind of key column and key value, so that it will be unique, and it can go ahead and compare that, okay, these are the data that I can match. And when it will find that matching row, it will take that and it will update the data. Okay, in the this basically the provide the item property. This is that what we want to update. Okay, so here we provide these type of properties that we want to perform. And date time format is same, just like I said, that if there is a date, then you need to provide what format it will be using. So that's what we have here, update row. Now delete. So if you want to delete some data from that Excel file, you can use this particular action, delete row. These are again the common things here. And then we have here the key column and key value. It is again, because when we are going to delete that row, it need to identify that, okay, which is the unique column. I'm passing the value, and based on this key value it will go ahead and do the comparison, and it will delete only that particular row from that table. Okay, because there can be multiple rows here, and I don't want to delete everything. I just want to delete a particular row here. So using this action, we can delete it. Okay, so these are the common actions that we use while we do automation in Excel. Okay, now we will showcase this on the demo. So I will pass mic to my friend Sandeep, and he will showcase all these, how we can use these actions that we talked about here now. And let's see on the demo. Sandeep, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Just a
Yeah.
second. So is it visible?
Not yet. Yeah, it's loading now.
I just want to check
We
like
can see.
both, yeah, both
Yeah, we can see.
tabs are visible. Okay, so I don't think we need to explain Power Automate because in last two sessions we already explained that how you can use Power Automate UI. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a manual flow, and using that I will add all those actions which already Mahendra explained. So I'm just going to use this manual trigger flow. So the first thing is like when you are working with Excel, the first thing you will do, you will create a sheet. So let me find a sheet, and I will go in a flow like I will use like the create a sheet, then I will create a table, then I will add the data. So we will able to understand that how we can use all those actions listed here in Microsoft online Excel, and how we can use in our application as well. So the first action I'm going to add that is create a worksheet. So worksheet is like whenever you are using Excel, you can see there are multiple sheets. So one sheet is one worksheet. So we'll create a worksheet. To create a worksheet, the first thing we need to add as an input is the location of that particular file. And you can see, as Mahendra already explained, that we have groups here, then we have the all the SharePoint sites available. So if you are a part of a particular group or you are a part of any SharePoint site, that is what you can see here. So if your file is in a particular group folder, or if your file is in a SharePoint folder, documents, that is what you can access from here. In my case, I'm going to use OneDrive, and then the the folder we need to select here, document library, that is OneDrive, and then we need to select the path of that particular file. So I have my file here in Excel demo, and I will select this file. And then the name, uh, whatever name you want to give to your worksheet, that is what you will give here. So I am giving demo sheet, and then I will save it. So let me test and see that this is working or not. So I will taste, continue, and so now you can see this is running. So let me open that sheet and show you, so you will have better understanding that what we are doing. So I'm going here, and this is the sheet, that is what we are using. Let me refresh it so we can see that. So right now I can't see it, but let me refresh one or two times and see that we have that particular sheet or not. So you can see this is here. So the next the this the create worksheet is working well. So now the next step is I'm going to create a table in this sheet. So what I will do is I will add an action to create a table. So you can see this action create a table, and already Mahendra explained like the all these things like how you can create the table. So you can select the location, then you can select the folder, and then the file. We will select the same file. So I'm using this, and then here in my sheet I have two sheets, and in the same way when we are working with the Excel sheet, we add the sheet name and then we add the range. So that is what we need to add here. So I will just use this particular sheet name, the demo sheet. So we'll add the demo sheet here, and then we'll add the range, that is starting from D1, and then we'll use the like whatever name you want to give. Let me add. So we'll give the table 1, and then the columns. So the columns I'm going to use here, that is the ID. We will add the ID, and then the next column is name, then use age and then gender. So these are the columns I'm adding here. So let me save and run this flow one more time and see that it is working or not. So I'm just going to run it manually, run the flow, and done. So now you can see this is working. Let's go back to our sheet and see that. So now you can see we have here, but the error we can see we can't have the table header. Let me refresh it. Like sometimes it will take a little bit time and then you can see. So you can see we have the table along with the header as well. So the next part is that we are going to add some rows in this particular table. For that, let me delete this. So for example, when you are working with a live data, might be you are getting data from API or you are getting data from CSV or any third party application. In that case, we know that we have the compose action in a Power Automate. That is how you can prepare the data. So I'm going to use the compose action here. So I will use, let me delete it. So operations, I will use the past JSON and something. So I will add the sample data here, and whenever you are adding a sample data, at the same time you need to add the schema so you will able to better parse it. So I will add the schema here. In the sample data you can see the way I created ID, name, column, and gender. That is what I have here. So what I will do is we'll pass this data and insert in our created table. So let me save it one more time, and then we'll add a action, that is add a row. So add a row into a table, and the same thing we need to do. We need to select the folder, then the path. So I'm going to select it here, and the file. Once you will select the file, you can see the table. That is what we created, table 1. And here you have all those columns which you created in that sheet, and then we need to select the data from here. So I will select the ID from here, then I will select name, I will select age and gender, and let me save it and run this. So we will taste it and run the flow. So this is also working fine. Let's go back to our sheet and see that we have all those records in our sheet or not. So it's still running. Let's wait for, and now you can see we have all those rows here. So this is also working fine. Let's go back here and the rest of the actions we'll do. So let me delete it. So we'll go in edit mode, and we will delete this. So now we'll add new action here, and this is the old the old UI. So we'll select the Excel from here, and then we will use get row. So if you want to get a particular row from this sheet, the same thing, we will select the location from here. So we'll use OneDrive, and then we will use the folder, the file path, Power Automate demo. Then we'll go to the folder and we select the file. Once you will select the file, we will have the table here, and the column, the key column we need to add. We have the ID, and based on that, like whatever one value we need to provide here. So we'll add this one, and then Let me save it and run it. So let's test and run the flow. So this is running properly, and you can see if you go in output and click here, you can see we got that data, that particular record we got, the ID we provided. So get row is also working fine. Let's go in edit mode and delete this action. So the next action I'm going to add, that is list all row present in a table. That is very important because whenever you are dealing with Excel sheet, most of the time we need to get the data and do some operations using that particular data. So I'm going to use it. So list rows present in a table. So we'll select the location what, and then the folder, the file path, the same file we'll select one more time, and the table. So this is how, like, the from this particular table all the records you will get after this action. And then the next thing I'm going to do is that either we can show somewhere, or let me post in a Microsoft Teams. So let me select using post a message in Teams channel, and we'll select the channel, and then we will select the team group, and that is demo team. And then I will select the channel I have there, that is general. And after that, like, you can post like commas separated or whatever. So ID, then, so based on your requirement, this is what I am adding just for the demo, so we can show that we are getting data and pass and posting in Microsoft Teams. Let me save it and taste it. So run the flow, and this is also working fine. So it will take little bit time to post in Microsoft Teams. Let's wait for that, and then we'll see here. So yeah, this is working fine. Let me go back to the Microsoft Teams and see that if we have there. Mm, so you can see, like, all those records, you can see that it got posted. Let me check that it is visible or not. I think not. So even though we can click here and we can go to the output and see, so you can see the data we have here, and that is what we posted in Microsoft Teams. The next action we can do, like, the update row. So let me edit this, and what we will do is, like, all the records we are getting using list row, that is what we will use to update the record. So I will add that action, update row. In the same way, whenever you are adding an action, the same parameters you need to give, like the path, then the folder, then the file. So let's go back to our file path here and select the file. Then you will select the table, and the key is ID. So key value you can provide. In our case, what I want to do is that I just want to update all those records. So we can add a condition here. control and apply to each, and then I will add this action here. So we'll go here and we'll try to add the value id demo. So I'm just updating the demo value gender, and then I will save it. So what I'm going doing is like I'm just taking all those rows here and then uh, apply to each, and then we are using the id parameter to update all those records. Let me test and see that it is working or not. So let's go back here, and you can see all those records updated by demo. So this is how, like, based on like whatever data you are getting from some other places, and you will take all those rows and then you can update using update a row. So the next action we can do, let me edit, delete all these. So one very important after all these things you can see here in a uh, Excel Online Actions, that is run a script. Uh, Whenever you are working with Excel Online, and if you go here, you can see in automate, multiple scripts are multiple files are available, and you can create a new script as well. And whatever scripts you already created, that is what you can see here. So you can see one script file is attached. If you want to create a new script, you can click on new, and you will able to create the new script as well. So that is what you can see. If you go back, and you can see we have two scripts. So in this script, let me edit and see. So what I'm doing is that I'm just getting that seat and then updating this from 1 to D7, D9. Let me check D9, and then I'm just updating all those rows. Background color is green. So let me save it. So that is what you can run. So this is very handy, like whenever you are working with a excel sheet and you want to run some kind of script, because vba is not available, vba script is not available here. So in some cases you can write the javascript kind of code, and that is what you can run to do some dynamic operations in excel sheet. So you can go here. Again the same thing, you will select the file, the OneDrive, and then we will select the folder, the path, and we'll select that file. And then once you will select the file, all the script attached with that particular file you can see here. So you will select, and then you will save it. So this is I'm doing manually, but even though you are creating a cloud flow or automated flow or a scheduled flow, you can schedule a script, and on a scheduled time or whenever you are running that flow, that script will run on that particular file. So let me test it and run it, and done. So let's see it is working or not. So this is working, and let me refresh. So let me first check the script, all the script, go here and run the script. Yeah. So this is working fine. Might be we need to check, or either it will take little bit time and after that update, because it is working from the file. So I'm hoping that it will work from here as well. So that is from my side. Hope in the same way, like all those other actions which is available in the Excel online, you can also run the same. You have to select the file, then path, and then the action you want to do. So from this, let's hand over the stage to Mahendra. And if you have any question, like whoever watching, we can you can ask the questions.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you explaining all these still automation actions, and that's what we wanted to cover in today's session. And as we said in earlier session, so if you guys have specific problem, or if you have any specific use case that you want us to cover in our automation, so feel free to comment on on the C Sharp Corner community or YouTube or wherever you are watching this. And thanks for joining us, and we will be back with another use case where we will talk about other automation, that how we can make your life easy using the digital transformation with the help of Power Automate, and you can automate your day-to-day activity depending on whatever your job role is. So thank you very much for joining us today. Stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you.